Hi again, everybody, and welcome to 3 Wide Life. I'm Tony Rizzuti, and this week we're in the Dirty Mo, and that's a hint to all of you that we're in Mooresville, North Carolina at Junior Motorsports. And Earnhardt fans, this show's for you because we're going to give you an inside look at the shops here in Mooresville. We're also going to sit down with the beauty and the brains behind the race team, Kelly Earnhardt. Going to hang out with my buddy Tony Eury Jr., and we're going to meet a young man named Josh Berry. Now, Josh is a racer on iRacing.com that Dale Jr. discovered, and he's going to get a chance to race the real deal. And oh yeah, we'll sit down with the man himself, NASCAR's most popular driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr. So Earnhardt fans, rejoice. This show's for you as we go inside Junior Motorsports. Hanging out here in the late model shop, and you know Dale Earnhardt Jr. is a huge fan of iRacing.com like we all are, and just to get to race with him is quite a thrill. Now, I've never really been able to impress him, but one guy did, a kid by the name of Josh Berry, and now Josh is going from the virtual world to the real world.
It's really been a dream come true, you know. I mean, this is the situation that I've always asked for, you know, because we couldn't personally put together a late model program anywhere close to this, you know, and having such a good opportunity, you know, and everybody at Junior Motorsports, you know, and all of our sponsors, I mean, have just been so great to me and so supportive of me, you know, and just, because this is quite a challenge. I mean, Motor Mile Speedway is where late model racing is, you know, and this is a lot of competition, but I mean, I feel like we've...
The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series is made up of the greatest drivers in the world, but the star among stars is the people's champ, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
If you're a race fan and you have had any experience in sim racing, even if it's on consoles, this is something you should really look into. I've always enjoyed, you know, grew up around racing, enjoyed racing, so whatever that popped up around you that had anything or even looked like racing, you just studied it for a little bit to see if you might want to fool with it. And I had never, the first sim racing I did was the original Papyrus game, NASCAR racing. People really never ask me what my #1 hobby is, but sim racing would probably top the list, but my love for computers, I guess, through that, I've got this really fascinating passion for
the famous
computers.
number 21 Purolator Mercury can only be one person. That's the Silver Fox, David Pearson. David, here at the Historic Racing Festival in Darlington, when you come through the gates and see the old lady in black, what goes through your mind?
Well, of course, it feels good to me, you know, because I've always been so lucky here. And this racetrack's been good to me. You know, I've always felt like it was my home track because I am from South Carolina, and like I say, it's been good. And like when they first said, old lady in black couldn't be tamed, I said, well, I'm going to try to tame it. But I have won a lot of races here, and I feel, I just like it.
Tech Zone, brought to you by our friends at Circle Track Magazine. Real tech for real racing. Inside the Tech Zone, we've caught up with the crew chief of the Napa Toyota, Booty Barker. And Booty, we've seen racing evolve over the years. Obviously, at the Cup level, the car has changed quite a bit. And the shock has become one of the most instrumental pieces of the car as far as adjusting the handling. How have shocks changed while you've been in the sport?
Wow, it's changed a ton since I've been in, and I've been in probably, I don't know, 12, 15 years, but probably about 20 years to 15 years even before that, so 30 years ago, the guys really just went out to your local, I guess, Napa auto parts and bought a shock, like a Monroe or whatever it was, and put it on the right front and went racing. But then you get somewhere like Bristol or Daytona, somewhere with a lot of bank, they'd actually go put 2 of those shocks in the corner to try to control it. But things, some people started catching on to some things and had a rebuildable shock, came into the game, and like I said, about 15 years ago, it really got ramped up because mainly Kurt Rohrig came out with a shock dyno so that we could check them and rebuild them.
I know one of the things that people at home hear a lot if they watch a telecast of a race, they hear about the shock and they hear about compression and rebound. To the folks at home, what exactly are those two terms?
Well, they're kind of your bread and butter of your shock. They're the basics. We'll illustrate with a shock first off about what is compression and rebound, and then we'll try to explain what it does on the car. Your shock goes on each corner, and it essentially sits like this at various angles and heights or whatever, but that's how it is. And compression is when the car is going around the track, it'll actually move the shock in this direction. That's your compression. Then after it goes up and goes over a bump or something else, car tries to come up, that's rebound. So what you do is you can adjust both sides of those curves to control the rate at which the car will dip in compression, or you might hear them refer to bump, so that you can slow that down or speed that up on various corners. And then also with rebound, what we've really done over the years, and it was a big advantage, is we've controlled keeping the car on the ground. So once we let it down, we would put a whole bunch of rebound in it and hold the car on the ground.
Now I'm with my good friend who came ready to race. And we didn't just bring anyone out here. We brought the hardest working man in motorsports, Tony Rizzuti. Tony, are you feeling the need?
Oh, the need for speed, Brittany. I tell you what, I am so excited because I've been wanting to come out to dirt track racing school for a long time. I'll tell you what, the highlight for me, that sprint car right there. I'm gonna get to drive that. Now, I hope I do a pretty good job, but one guy that can get it done is Levi Jones. All right, guys, well, I'm back in the saddle, so we're gonna try this again, this time with the sprint car. Now, this is a beast, so I'm gonna try to go a little bit easier and not end up in the mud hole. Stick around, I'm getting ready to run this thing. Woo! Now, that was a good time. Tell you what, today in the Circle Track Tech Zone, we're going to talk about what you need to do to the rear of the car, depending on whether you have wet or dry conditions. Now, right down here, this gold bar, that's the lower bar. If you raise the bar, that's good for wet conditions. And if you lower the bar, obviously, if you have a dry track, that's going to give you more traction. But remember what we learned today, if you keep it in the dark in that wet stuff, you'll be able to drive it fine. Now, working on these things is a blast, but I'm telling you right now, you need to go drive one. Now that's real tech.
Jimmy Johnson, we switched over to you for that final restart. A big points day. You extend your points lead. How about that final restart? Were you content to stay where you were at?
I wanted to take advantage of the opportunity. Unfortunately, we just had something off on the car all day long. It wouldn't accelerate right, and really had us confused. We thought we got it figured out and pulled the rev chip out, and it improved the car, but it didn't fix it. So we got to see what was going on. We thought there was something up in qualifying on, I guess, yesterday, and then today, it wouldn't suck up. It wouldn't go anywhere. On restarts, guys would just leave me, and I'd fall off. Like at the start of the race, I just fell off the end. I couldn't hang on. So we salvaged a lot out of today, overcame a lot through wrecks that we missed, getting down a lap, and racing for a good top 10. So I'm very happy.
Yeah, everybody said this was the wild card in the chase. So now that you've survived that, are you satisfied with this top 10? And does this now make you the guy in the driver's seat?
Man, if I could have bought a top 10 before the race started, I would have taken it and been totally content and happy. Even if the 99 and 16 won the race, I wouldn't have cared. So I'm very happy with where we're at. Always want more, but very happy with where we're at, and feel like we can race smart from here on out and be in good shape.
Jimmy Johnson, the Lowe's Chevrolet, finishes 10th here this afternoon, and he'll extend his points lead after this race at Talladega. What a tremendous season opener they had here at Hickory Motor Speedway, with Shane Huffman getting the win and our man Coleman Presley having a great run, finishing second here this afternoon. Don't forget, if you want to catch more episodes of 3 Wide Life, then log on to our website at 3widelife.com. Well, as you can see, the cars are being loaded up, so that means we have to get out of here. Thanks so much for watching, and keep living the 3 Wide Life.